Hey, what's up guys? Joe Elements here once again, and following the rumors that we're hearing about the Canon R5 and the Canon R3 receiving a new firmware update specifically for video features, there are only 5 things that I want to highlight that we wish to have on this R3 because quote unquote this camera is a flagship camera, and so is the Sony A1 and the Nikon Z9. And so comparing the three of these, we realize that the Canon R3 is lacking a few features in the video aspect. And out of the 5, I want to start off with the 8K recording, specifically internally recording. And we know that the battery on here is much capable. And so I believe strongly that we should be able to have at least 30 frames, preferably 60 frames in 8K RAW, or up to 30 frames at least in 8K internally recording. This will bring the R3 up to the par with the A1 and the Z9. And then the second thing I want to also mention is a C-Log profile. Now, it's not really mandatory. It would be a plus if it's thrown in there. And I know Canon is trying to restrict the C-Log profile to only their cinema lines. However, if it is included, it will be brilliant. Not specifically for my needs because I shoot mainly in RAW. And when you shoot in RAW, you can convert all the files in post-production. And number 3, one thing that is very frustrating so far using the Canon R3 is being able to send my feed out to my recorder. So when you send a feed from the HDMI out to the recorder, you automatically lose the image on the back LCD. And that means automatically the Canon or the camera is now deciding what to focus on. So you can't physically touch like you used to, but then either you use the magic joystick up here to move the cursor around. And it's not really helpful when you're using it for video because you'll be moving it around and it will be focusing as it's getting to the subject. And so it would be nice to actually have the feed out. So all the information that we see on the LCD here out onto the Ninja V when we need to also record things like tutorials so that we can show our settings, and then also having live feed on the LCD. That way we can control our focus system. So that would be a plus for me overall. The updates, that is one of my major things because I'm doing a lot of reviews on this specific camera and would love to show my settings when I'm doing internal settings. And this is the only way to get the feed out. And obviously the Canon R5C is doing it, the Canon R5 is doing it. So Canon, if it's something that has been overlooked, I'm pretty sure and hoping, fingers crossed, that you address that issue. And then we'll move on to 5th is autofocus improvement. And we know that this has one, if not the best autofocus system in the world, period. And I'll repeat again, period. However, at times we find that the camera gets confused in focusing on a specific point. No matter where you direct the camera to or the lens to, you will still see that the camera is hunting to the back or a different subject than the nearest subject. And especially in video mode, it would be nice to implement the face only feature that is found in the C200, the C300, Mark III and the C500. It would be very nice to have that feature on here, and it will make it easy, especially when you're doing a sit down talk videos and interviews, run and gun and stuff like that. It will make this camera very versatile. Now, those are the 5 main things that we need in the Canon R3 with the topping of waveforms. That will be very great to have. It's not a big deal if we are able to get a feed out here, but it will be nice to have it all built in compact. So it makes this camera very viable and very useful in many ways. Now, I know that it's been said that the features or the firmware update is only specifically directed to video improvement. However, I would love to see a megapixel boost on this camera. Again, it's a flagship, and I understand that people are using it for sports and fast-paced events and stuff like that. However, some of us are using it for portraiture, some of us are using it for landscape, some of us are using it for weddings, and you get clients who wants their wedding pictures to be blown up as big as possible. And so having at least an increase to the same megapixels as the EOS R, which is 30 megapixels, would be great. Preferably if Canon could match the Z9 or the A1 by boosting it to 50 megapixels. And I know all of these things that I've mentioned are just firmware based. There's nothing hardware based on there. So Canon, if you are listening, these are the 5 things that I feel personally, and I'm pretty sure that many others would wish to have on the Canon R3, because the Canon R3, it is powerful and capable with those features. So if you agree with me, do leave a comment below in what you are expecting or what you wish that a Canon will implement in this new firmware update, and hopefully Canon will see it and listen to us and make those improvements for us. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.